Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Brahma Miristiparantakare Banushashi Bhumisito Buddhasha Gurusha Shukra Shani Rahu Keteva Sarve Graha Shantikara Bhavantu. Om. Well, greetings. It is I, Cosmic Kev, with KozmicKev100 Astrology, your weekly astro video zine. This one is for the week beginning with Friday, August 12th, and going through the 19th of August here in 2022. So, looking at the sky today, we would see a moon that's waning, starting to diminish in size, but still pretty fresh from the full moon we had on Thursday, which was in the lunar mansion known as Dhanista. So today it's moved over into a lunar mansion known as Shadabishak, or it will be in Shadabishak. It's actually still in Dhanista in the morning, and by noon or a little after noon Pacific Daylight Time, it will be in Shadabishak. And so what is Shadabishak? Shadabishak is ruled by Rahu. Rahu is the north node of the moon. It's all within the constellation of Aquarius. So this part of the forecast is the Sidereal Vedic astrology forecast. And so Shadabishak is sort of a loner. And one of the symbols is a reservoir or a lake. And anything that contains water, but a large body of water. And like when you're looking at the ocean, there's a limit to the horizon. Or even one of the Great Lakes, if you've been in the Northeast United States and Northern Midwest. They're so big you don't see the other side. And so Shadabishak is visionary. And one of the symbols is also a cloak or a talisman. In Vedic astrology, they associate Aquarius with the north node of the moon. And so and that's known as Rahu. So what is Rahu, or the north node of the moon? Well, it's a desire that has no bottom, and it's really our ability to fulfill a karma we weren't able to do in our past life. And so we're trying to make up for that with something different. We're trying to be this other being. And Rahu gives a lot of innovation, actually. It kind of rules disguises and cloaks, and sometimes Shadabishak is associated with traps and even paralysis, and sometimes difficult diseases arise in Shadabishak that are hard to cure. And I think we've all had our share of diseases over the last 2.5 years. We're kind of like over it. But and it's interesting, it was on that new moon in Shadabishak 2.5 years ago that really people found out about COVID-19, and fortunately it hasn't turned out as bad as people thought, and unfortunately a lot of the big pharma protocols of vaccines did not really work. People got it anyway, it spread, it didn't prevent transmission, so people were sort of lied to in that sense. And I like to think that there was some goodwill behind it, but I also kind of think there was an economic angle to this whole procedure from the evidence I've seen, so we can't deny that either. But with that, we're here, and we're kind of finishing off Sidereal Cancer. Sidereal Cancer is going to end on August 16th. So that's on Tuesday. So at some point on Tuesday, we're going to be feeling this new vibe. We're going to be feeling this up, because the sun is actually going to be in the constellation of Leo. Now, in Western astrology, we've got a moon in Aquarius going into Pisces at 11:44 a.m. today. And Pisces gives a lot of empathy, and Pisces is a sign associated also with healing and caring for people. It's actually one of the most caring signs in the zodiac. Now, in the tropical zodiac, the sun's in Leo right now, and will be until the 23rd of August. Leo's about being in your heart and knowing your soul truth. And with that said, the only other change that we're going to see is, I think at the end of the week, Mars is going to move into Taurus. So that doesn't happen until next Saturday, though, a week from Saturday. So all in all, everything's where it is. And with that said, we're going to start with Aries and get into your forecast. So, and a friend, Rebax on YouTube, asked, what should I read? And I'm like, well, in this forecast, we're just doing the tropical rising sign, sun sign, and moon. All three work. If you know all three, give it a go. So here we go for people with Aries rising, especially Aries moon, and then Aries sun. So, greetings Aries, and welcome to your forecast. So Mars is still in Taurus this week, and Mars in Taurus is your second house. The second house is about family, and it's about making money. And one of the things I think about second house Mars is like selling tools, or, you know, getting rid of your guns and making money, cashing in on them. Another one is, because second house rules our voice, sometimes we speak a little more harshly when Mars is in our second house. It's sort of like, hey, weren't you supposed to do this for me? And what's going on here? And people are like, oh, you know, don't be a jerk to me. You know, I mean, I've had that kind of response, even though it may not be my fault. People don't always respond well to confrontation. And so, especially, you know, and then when the sun's in Sidereal Cancer, I would say, like it is right now, even though it's a Western forecast, I would say in the back of your mind, think about this, you know. What constellation would you look in the sky and see these planets? There's some deep truth to that. So I always go back to the Jyotish, you know. And then anyone gets a reading from me, you know, unless they really request the Western one, I go to Jyotish, because that Sidereal Vedic stuff, it's cosmic, and it is bigger than just this whole planet, and real clear truths come out that way. I mean, Aries, you're generally a no-nonsense sign. You want that clear truth. So yeah, in the Sidereal, most of your sun signs are in Pisces, but if you're born after the, you know, 13th or so, you're good chances you're Sidereal Aries as well. Jupiter in the first house. You know, this is bringing spiritual values closer to you. It's actually giving you a lot of good luck, and it even brings people in your life that are good teachers and have good moral conduct and are generous. And it's a time where you can improve your relationship with your father. There's a lot of different things that are going. And one of the worst things we can do to ourselves is limit ourselves. And I'd say for Aries people, you know, there is no limits. It's just kind of keeping things more chilled out in your scope of things. Leo rules your heart, so if you have children, you know, they're going to be in the focus right now too. Any creative projects, anything that's beyond yourself. Well, they're doing a lot of family work and dealing with some family tension. That's all that's going on. All right, so greetings Taurus, welcome to your horoscope. So Taurus, you're ruled by Venus. Venus is in Leo right now. Leo is in your fourth house of happiness. This is a good place, you know. And sometimes the fourth house is also about fixed assets too. So you might accumulate a luxury item, or you might even sell a luxury item. So, you know, there could be a certain kind of wealth coming to you, but there's personal satisfaction is coming to your life, which is really nice. And yeah, I mean, sure, I agree there's a tension sometimes when planets are squaring, you know, like if Venus is squaring your sun right now. I mean, in a way, squares are also motivators, though. So it's like, oh, I want to make my house more beautiful. Fourth house rules your property, rules your real estate. Or if you don't have a house, maybe you have a car. I want to make my car look nice, or I want to get a better car, you know. So these are things that are likely to happen to you as we go through the week. And the other thing is, you know, Mercury and Virgo. You know, Mercury and Virgo in the fifth house gives a lot of good creative ideas, and it kind of makes you more of a joker. Like, you want to have fun, you want to have levity in your conversations, and maybe it brings smarter children. It's helping your children move ahead and improve in some way. Well, greetings Gemini, and welcome to your horoscope. So I mean, Mercury ruled, Mercury in Virgo is going to be a big thing. Mercury's exalted in Virgo. That means super intelligence right now. And one of the things about Gemini is sometimes there's this whole thing about wanting to be out there, go to parties, check up on people, do things, check up on the gossip. But some of our best ideas come from our quiet time when we're alone at home and we're just receptive to things. When we're reading books and doing research, and Virgo is great at doing the research. So this Mercury in Virgo is going to help you learn new things. And it's even like, since the fourth house is also about our ancestors and our heritage and older adults in the family, this is a really good time to tune into them and to learn from them. So we want that greater learning to happen. And here we go. I think you're getting ready also. See, Mars is in the 12th house. So sometimes Mars in the 12th house is secret enemies. So you might have had some problems with people over the last couple weeks or something, and you just haven't been able to get the kind of resolve you would like. You know, I mean, I really like to verse, pray for your enemies, do good things for them. You'll be leaping hot coals of fire on their head. I mean, don't give it too much attention. You know, be cautious. You know, use your rear view mirror, but also turn your head. Make sure, you know, you're careful about, you know, driving or any other activity or people at work that or other places that don't have your best interest. And move forward with grace, move forward with divine intelligence. And I mean, I think one thing is that Mars somewhat loosely trining Mercury is going to help you avoid any kind of conflict. So yeah, that's what we like to hear. We like to avoid conflict. And we just want to participate in the best of everything. All right. Greetings, Cancer, and welcome to your horoscope. So, I mean, we're starting out the weekend pretty good. You know, Moon's in Pisces for most of the weekend. And so, for Cancer, that rules your 9th house. And that might inspire travel. And a lot of places, schools start in August. Ugh, it's horrible. Right? August is so hot, and it's just like, you don't want to be in school. You know, maybe some people do. But it'd be a good weekend for Cancer to take a vacation, go on a little adventure, see some things. And with like Jupiter's in your midheaven right now, so for a lot of Cancer people, they could be getting promotions at work. Their career could be moving forward in a better way. This is also helpful. I think as time runs on, I mean, the full moon was a little bit exacerbating, you know. I think it being in your 8th house for most of you, it was not an easy transition, and now there's kind of this cosmic relief coming to you over the weekend, and it'll continue. And even as the week goes on, you'll be seeing more opportunities, and wealth is coming your way too. I mean, between that Jupiter in the midheaven and the Sun moving through your 2nd house, there's acts of generosity. There's some good things happening, and you're able to really speak what's on your heart versus just what's on your mind or coming strictly from the emotions. Well, greetings, Leo, and welcome to your horoscope. So, I'm going to give some Leo shout outs to some of my friends out there that might be having birthdays this week. I'm going to give a shout to Terry Enslin and to let's see, Robert Dresden, and to my teacher of Vedic Astrology, Camilla Sutton, who's having a birthday on the 15th. and to one of my clients, Allie, who works at Farm-A-Lot, having a birthday. Just want to give a shout out to you, to Mariah in Southern Oregon, and Mahara rather in Southern Oregon, and to Foxy Jeff, and to Franklin. All my friends that are Leos having birthdays this week. I want to give you that big birthday uplift, and looking forward to seeing you other later Leos next weekend as I do another forecast. So yeah, there's a difference. You know, one of the things about this week, so we're looking at Mercury's in your second house, so you're being really thoughtful with what you say, the words you speak. Sun's in your first house, so you feel like, yeah, I am the flavor of the month. So if you're a Leo whose key phrase is I will, you could say, I will be the flavor of the month. Well, they're probably most Leos I know. You know, because sometimes the sun can rule our ego. It's like, you know, I want to be the flavor of all year round, thank you very much. You know, it's that kind of thing. And it's like, okay, temperate Leo, you don't necessarily win friends with that kind of attitude. You know, you have to temper it. But generally speaking, Leos are friendly. They bring a lot of love into the mix. Where, you know, there's a big shift. There's kind of this cosmic shift on the 16th and the 15th. You know, the 15th will be the last day of Sidereal Cancer, and the 16th will be the first day of Sidereal Leo. And when there is this kind of cosmic knot in the galaxy, it's called the Gandanta, and it's like we're getting out of like this feeling of being liberated in moksha, and then we're learning that, oh wow, we have new responsibility put upon us, you know. And when I think of like the Magha Nakshatra of Leo that starts pretty much the 16th of August and goes through the 30th of August, it's kind of like the sword in the stone, King Arthur. Nobody could get that freaking sword out of the rock. But here comes this little boy, and he picks this thing up, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, you have to do this. There's a calling, you know, and so part of this week is for all of us, regardless of sign, is we need to respond to our ancestors and to that cosmic calling that we are all a part of, to do our best work with what we've been gifted with. And so I just want you to carry that in your heart as you go through the week, regardless of which side of the Gandanta you were born in, Leos, and know that this is a beautiful thing. And greetings, Virgo. Welcome to your horoscope. So, you know, Virgo, here's the good thing, is that Mercury, that light of intelligence in the most exalted position it can be, and that is in Virgo, is bringing you that cosmic truth that helps us link the material world with the spiritual world. In fact, on Wednesdays, where I live, which is a Mercury day, there's a show that comes on with Justine Willis Hayes called New Dimensions, and it's mainly conversations about how science and spirituality intermingle, and it's a fantastic show. I love it. I eat that stuff up. You know, and I would think you, Virgo, would enjoy some of these things. The other thing is that you know, Sun's still in your 12th house. Now after the 16th, it gets a little closer to the 1st. You know, things will start easing up a little bit, but it's still, sometimes there's deception, and we have losses while the Sun transits our 12th house. And so if you've had some losses and you know, things have been bad, the thing to do is, you know, make donations, create your own losses rather than have the universe take them out for you. And then while you're doing that, also pay attention to your spiritual life, because the 12th house is a guru house. You know, 9th house and 12th house are really about the ashrams, or about our spiritual life, you know, monasteries, developing ourselves spiritually. You know, take a vacation, get yourself out in the wilderness. You know, don't, if you don't have to be at the workplace, and then if you are at the workplace, be just receptive. Don't feel like you can control everything, accept everything with with a tidbit of grace. And, Mars and Taurus is helping you. It's giving you a certain amount of courage, and it's sending people in your life that are like, hey, you want to do better yoga, you want to have better posture, you want to do better training, this is what you need to do. All right, let's take a drink. And I will say, greetings Libra, welcome to your horoscope. So, for Libra, Leo time is the 11th house. So, Leo is kind of like a party sign. The 11th house is sort of a party house. And, you want to get your groove on. You want to have fun. You want to have fun with people. And Venus is there too. Woohoo! So, if you're a Libra that's not in a partnership or doesn't have any love in their life, how many Libras go very long like that? I guess I've known a few, but not too many. They generally, they tend to be attractive people that attract other people in their life, and they're so concerned with justice and the welfare of other people that they make ideal partners in a lot of ways. So, but if you haven't been out there, this is a time to take your partner and your loved one and go to parties and socialize. It's really a fun gift. And one of the nice things is when you're partnered up in a good relationship, it attracts you to meet other partners, and you build beautiful friendships this way. And I love seeing that, and I wish that for everyone. The other thing is, if you're like in a place in your life where you don't have a partner, one of the meditations I do is I pray for other people that are in partnerships, that they would, be able to get along, and that they'll be able to resolve things, and that their life would be good. And in that way, I'm not cut out in that woe is me, I don't have anybody, in a partnership. I'd rather just like affirm, hey, I'm so grateful people that do have partnerships have that, and I want them to thrive and survive. Of course, there's some bad partnerships. You can't wait for them to break up. I get that too. Oh, the other thing is pay attention to your dreams. Maybe keep a little dream journal handy, because the dreams are going to come out. All right. Greetings, Scorpio, and welcome to your horoscope. So, I so appreciate you, Scorpio, and I appreciate your key phrase, I create. And yes, in Western astrology, my sun sign's in Scorpio. Okay, I'll bring that up. Anyhow, Leo time is about career performance for Scorpio. It's like, are you using your work? It's been interesting, for me, I've gotten a lot more work during Leo time. I've been noticing that. I'm like, yeah, what's been going on, between, July 23rd and to the present day, things have been picking up for good old Cosmic Kev, and that's great, because I love what I do. I love doing readings for people. I love being at work. I work in health and supplements and produce at a market, so I'm like helping people be healthier and have better life, and how horrifying is that? Not to. I am so blessed. Could I make more money? Of course. I'm open to it, and the universe rewards me. There's so many things beyond money, though, that are real wealth. Good relationships with people, good health, having this program to just share with you. All of this is something to be thankful for. And I do agree with like psychologists, it's like anything you can do to be grateful, it's going to lift you up. And so I hear from people sometimes, oh, Scorpios are vengeful, they're this and that. It's really what you say about other people genuinely or generally, we're talking about ourselves. We're talking about our self-perception. You're thinking, no, I'm not. It's them, not me. Like, if you're still, it's them, not me, you're in a very infantile state of development. Because everything that we go through, even if it's challenging, it's a lesson. So we're learning some lessons. Some of them are hard. But right now, Scorpio, your creative works need to be seen. And Mars and Taurus, it's like there's a bit of conflict resolution going on. It's like, one of my Vedic teachers says, if Mars is in the 7th house, it can make you a sweetheart. Well, Mars is transiting your 7th house, and it's sort of like, sometimes 7th house in Western astrology is said to be open enemies, so there could be some confrontation. But it's like, you know, when a big wave comes to you, here we go, here's that Southern California surf talk for you. When the big wave comes and you don't feel like you can take it, the best thing you can do is go into it and under it. You know, get to the root and go under it. Don't try and run away from it, because that thing will knock you down. But just go, pfft. It's sort of like there's this thing of surrender. You know, it's like, oh, you know, you got a point. I could see how that affected you in a negative way. I appreciate you sharing that with me. That type of thing really helps dissolve all the aggression. You know, this is like, martial arts is not just the physical thing. You know, there is a sort of a spiritual, sociological aikido where we can let the negative energy pass us by and not be so resistant or reactionary. It's not easy to do because we're trained to be defensive by our parents and our culture, and it's not helping us. I'll be really honest with you. Greetings, Sagittarius. Welcome to your horoscope. Okay, so your Jupiter rule, Jupiter's in Aries right now in the 5th house. Did I tell you that the 5th house is a karaka for Jupiter? It means that Jupiter functions incredibly well in the 5th house. So for Jupiter-ruled Sagittarius, I mean, this has got to be a good thing, okay? I mean, I know that's more of a Sidereal Vedic system. Well, at least it's a good thing for those Sagittarians born between, say, the 15th, 16th through the 21st. You're going to be getting some benefits from this position. But I think, you know, all of you in general, it's still Jupiter in the 5th house. And so it's calling on the inner teacher in you to come out. It's calling on you to enjoy your children more. Most work with children is done by mothers. And since the 1970s, in the Western world, we're attempting to create a more egalitarian society. It doesn't always work. We haven't really trained as many of our boys as we should in like good domestic stuff, knowing how to cook, cleaning the house, cleaning clothes, you know, all these things. And they say that women share an unfair amount of that, even as they're working. It's very stressful. And at the same time, a lot of jobs men have held are being replaced by women's work too. So there's sort of a displacement in the male community as to what they're good at and what they can do. So it's like, we're really important that everybody uplifts everybody to what their potential is, rather than bagging on people for what they're not good at. You know, it'd be like, you know, it doesn't help. It doesn't really improve situations, from what I've seen. But when we can be loving and kind about our potential to do good and what good comes out of that in that gentle way, then all the good starts coming out. And so this is going to be your week to do a lot of good. And I mean, with the moon being in Aries, especially like on Monday and stuff, I just see you, even in a hard position, even in like some sort of, oh, I don't know, theoretical crisis place, you're going to do good. You're going to bring hope. Tuesday will be a great day, you know. I could see that as just fulfilling a lot of positivity for you. Okay, greetings Capricorn, welcome to your horoscope. You know, this is a really Saturn time, okay? Saturn's in your 2nd house in Western astrology. Saturn can be about restrictions, it can be about embarrassment, it can be about shame, it can be about loneliness, it's about hard work, it's about paying off karmic debt, it can be about pain, it can be about isolation, and it can be about depression. So what are the Saturn remedies? You know, it's like, well, you know, you might have had, finances might be moving slower for you. In the United States of America, the country I live in, 33 million small businesses were shut down during the lockdown and never recovered. You think that would have brought protest out on the street. This is really interesting to me, just how psychology works and how I feel like people are kind of being massively manipulated by psyops. And by a psyop, I mean a psychological operation that kind of works through the media, internet, whatever, to manipulate people to one view of another. There's less rational reasoning. There's more knee-jerk response and an urgency to blame and attack other people for your problems. How's that working for you? Obviously, it doesn't work. Beauty about Capricorn is that most of you, in a very lucid, conscious state, want to work towards making things better. You want to work towards that higher truth. And you do that work till you succeed. Whether you're Jimmy Page, Elvis Presley, or Martin Luther King Jr., you're going to do the work to build better relationships and better functions. You know, David Bowie, I like to throw him. I know a lot of musicians, although, you know, Capricorn isn't always known as well for their ability to be creative. But what part of being creative is, if you're not practical with getting your stuff out there, you'll never be known as a good artist. So, you know, Capricorn's got that practicality in promotion and in gifts. So, and the other thing about Saturn is all about inclusivity. It's about the people that were forgotten, that don't get treated as well, and having compassion and mercy on them. And so, you know, donating to help other people be elevated, people that are homeless, people that are starving, people that need eyesight or have diseases that are incurable that need some help. That kind of giving is going to elevate your world, it's going to rock your world. Leo time for Capricorn is, you know, that's 8th house, you know, that's stuff you don't have control over. So it's like you kind of have to take a few deep breaths and go, okay, that's their stuff, that's not my stuff, and just carry on and do the best you can. All right, greetings Aquarius, and welcome to your horoscope. Also Saturn rule. You know, and so Saturn in the first house kind of slows everything down. It's like, oh my gosh, I've got this big pile of junk I've got to take apart, and I've got to see what's of value still and what needs to be left behind or discarded or recycled or sold. It can be kind of a big task, but the thing about Saturn is Saturn's about patience, and so you're just taking your time. You know, Aquarius is about the greater world, the social life, how people, humans are treated in general, what's good for the community. You know, like a well that takes care of people. You know, you're the person that owns the well. Make sure everybody has clean water to drink. That is a very Aquarian thing, although Aquarian's an air sign. Air sign is about the social community. You know, Gemini, we're kind of looking for a soulmate. Libra, we want that divine marriage of some sort, you know, balance and the romance. And then in Aquarius, we want everybody to be happy and be appreciated wherever they're at. Fat or skinny, short or tall, black or white, brown or yellow or red, you know, it doesn't matter. Blue hair, green hair, gray hair, white hair, you know, black hair, kinky hair, curly hair, straight hair. We want them all in the mix. Big round eyes, shorter squinty eyes, you know, it's all the same. We love. Love is the key that brings us together. And with Venus and Sun in your 7th house, Aquarius, this is a time for love. Love like there's no tomorrow. Mercury in the 8th house, transform those ideas. Get this renewal of the mind. See opportunities in places you thought there were just obstacles. Yeah. All right, greetings Pisces, welcome to your horoscope. So, we got a moon in Pisces this weekend. I mean, I think it's great, you know. Empathy, creativity, imagination, intuition, spirituality, flowing. That's a good thing. Here's the danger, you know. Too much drinking, too much drugging, you know. I think just keep all of that on the DL. I'd say do as little of a substance as possible in a way. And as one of my friends said, to me is this woman Alicia said, you know, I just want to feel things and have a human experience, which sometimes means not doing any drugs or drinking at all, because instead of distracting, and sometimes internet shows, activities, they can all be distractions. Can we sit with ourselves? Can we have compassion in our lonely personal self and feel happy and just know that, hey, I'm okay, you're okay, we're going to be all right, you know, even with the struggle we're going through. Something is emerging. I think of a friend who sometimes would be very impatient after he planted a seed. It didn't come out of the ground. He'd go dig it up. Oh yeah, there's a sprout. Okay, and then dig it back in again. You know, your plants will grow better if you don't disturb the seed, though, to see if it's growing. Sometimes we can't see the growth that's taking place, but we just have to let it be, because it's going to emerge, and we have to just have the faith that we're watering it enough and that we're taking care of it enough that things are going to be good. And I think that really goes for all of us this week. So I just want to thank you so much for being with me today, and I am so looking forward to being with you again. Don't forget to like or share this video, or both, or subscribe. Please subscribe. Tell a friend. I'd like to thank you for inviting me into your life this week. With that, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Namaste.